be a fun class. I have a lot planned for us. Now, this is just ideas to get you started with a Halloween party. I know it says the ultimate guide, but really, could we ever have the true ultimate guide of everything we need? Why don't we start off with invitations? So I created an invitation and I thought I could just assemble it together. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my overhead camera so you guys can get an overhead view of what I'm making. Now, I did use for my cuts and everything, I did use Cricut Design Space as well as my Cricut cutter. So if there's anything that you'd like to make that I show you today, they're all in my Cricut profile in Design Space under Kesley Anderson. So anything we work on today, you can certainly, you'll be able to get access to if you want to make the same project. Also, just to let you know that any of these projects we make today, you can make with any of your craft cutters. I just happen to use my Cricut machine today. So I did a little print and cut with my invitation. So I went ahead and designed my invitation in Design Space using a few of the Design Space images as well as the font. And then I flattened that image so that I could print that out. So I have my invitation is all printed out, but then I thought, well, I need something more to go with it. So I took a spider web and attached it to a rectangle and I added a score line. Now my score line is very small. So what I'll do is I'll start from my rectangle side and roll it over, fold it over that way. So I'll put, because this side is a little bit fragile, I'll just put a ruler right there along the score line and I will just score that. And then I can fold it over. I missed a little spot there. And then I can just fold that over and I'll attach my invitation on the inside of my card. So the way I designed the card is that you can still see the invitation peeking through the card. And I use this shimmer cardstock to do that, just to kind of give it a little bit of a Halloween look. It's got that little, like the dew in the morning on your spider webs. So we've got that. And I'm just reinforcing that score line because like I said, it is a little bit fragile. So I just wanted to have it a little firmer there. And then I like to use this product called Ultra Bond. It's from a company called iCraft. And what I like about it is it dries really clear. So if a little bit of it kind of scoots out of my lines, it will still dry very clear and I'll be able to not worry about making any marks on my project if I have a little bit of adhesive slip out. So I just put the adhesive along the back and I'll flip that over and line it up about a half an inch, about a quarter of an inch on each side here. And I'm just going to set that aside to dry. And while that's drying, I can assemble my envelope. Now, I did cut my envelope on the Cricut Maker 3. And you could, if you're using a stiffer cardstock like I use here, you could use your scoring wheel option or just your scoring tool. And so it's really easy to make an envelope using your craft cutter. You don't have to use a template or anything. You just pick an envelope that works for your design, and then you cut that out using your regular blade as well as a scoring tool. And if you don't have a scoring tool, you can still add these score lines with a manual scoring tool. Now on this, when I put an insert into my envelope, I usually don't adhere the top piece to the envelope because as the envelope folds, that top piece can kind of get a little bit distorted. So I like to line that up. And then I won't actually adhere the top piece. I'll just let that be loose. And by distorted, I mean, when you have it, if you adhere it while it's flat, and then you fold it, your lining paper moves a little bit. So I usually leave that open. If you wanted to, you could add a little tack on this top corner here, just like that, and just tack it down a little bit. And again, like I said, that adhesive is so forgiving. Now I'm just gonna tuck in my sides, and my bottom piece will just flap up. And again, I'll put a piece of on. Now, one little trick I have when I work with the envelopes is the paper tends to want to pop up because its natural position is very flat. So what I like to do is I take some of my sewing clips, these little clips here. So you can use sewing clips, you can use paper clips, anything that will hold that in place for you and keep it folded while your adhesive dries. I usually put those on the ends here and here. And then once that dries and I have my envelope and my invitation. So that's the kickoff to the party. Now, when people come to the party, of course, you want to have some decorations and some designs to work with. So I have a wall behind me that we're going to decorate. And one of the elements I wanted to put on the wall was a disco, little skeletons dancing. So I cut out using black removable vinyl. And this is what's so great about the removable vinyl is that you can use it temporarily and then take it off. So when you're done with your project, when Halloween's over and you're ready to start decorating for Christmas or anything like that, or the Thanksgiving, I guess, is our next holiday, you can just use your, you can take this off and it won't leave any residue on your wall. So that's why I love to use the removable vinyl. Now for my top layer, I went ahead and cut out some transfer tape. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A. I'm too far away from my monitor to read them, but we'll get to those at the end. We'll have some Q&A time. So please do feel free to drop questions in there and we'll answer those as we go along. So what I just did was I did a little fold back about 1 inch on the transfer tape. And I do that because I like to adhere that little hinge part onto my work surface. So let me just put down about 1 inch on my work surface. I'm a little crooked there, but that's okay. All right, let's see. Make sure I get it so everyone can see it. Okay, so I'll put down like that 1 inch of the hinge there, and that allows me to move my transfer paper out of the way and line up the image underneath. So I just will move that a little bit. Now I can come back about 1/2 inch and push the top of my design up against that 1/2 inch mark. And then I push down to the 1 inch mark, and that will hold my vinyl in place. And I'm just going to move this a little bit far. Let's just get that lined up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use 4 layers of vinyl in 4 different colors. So my top color is the black, and that one had the most in it. So I thought I would put that one as my top layer. So I just going to go ahead and I was saying today I've had issues with my transfer tape today. I'm just going to get the top part stuck on and started, and then I'll be able to slide it down the rest of it. So like I was saying, if you're working with something that you're doing inside, I do recommend using the removable vinyl so that it can, you can remove your design later and not worry about damaging your wall. So the removable vinyl is very renter friendly, I always say. Okay, so I'm just going to flip my paper over and I'm going to grab this little tail piece. And as I push that down along the design, my transfer tape just comes off nice and smooth. And then I just push my ruler along as I go, exposing that area. Then I'm going to turn my my design over, and I'll remove the carrier sheet from the vinyl. So I just roll this over, and I can use my brayer or a wedge, and I'm just going to make sure I have as many air bubbles out of my design as possible. So to lift multiple colors at one time, it can be a bit tricky. So I'm going to show you a method using wax paper to make it a little bit easier. Now, as I'm removing my carrier sheet here for my vinyl, I'll be pushing my vinyl down. And this is this piece of vinyl is using Cricut Smart Materials. So it's a little bit thicker than other vinyl backing. So you do have to be a little more careful, take a little bit extra time as you remove it. But I just will fold it and then slide it back and expose where my vinyl is as I go along. And the folding does, I believe it does help, especially when you're working with such a large piece like this. It helps so you don't get your transfer tape, or you don't get your vinyl, your carrier sheet stuck on your transfer tape. I'm just going to pull this back. And I also will work at like a 45-degree angle to remove my transfer tape. And I'll kind of rock it back and forth so I can detach items from my carrier sheet onto my transfer tape. So if I have a hard time at one angle, I'll just kind of come at it from a different angle. And so it'll transfer off a little smoother. That guy's just on the edge of that transfer tape. So the benefit of the beauty of using smart material, like I have this skeleton behind me, we're gonna put up another dancing skeleton, and I cut those out of smart material, which meant I could run them on the machine, on the Cricut Maker or Explore in one long cut. So I took three, they're like 18-inch skeletons, and I was able to cut those all in one cut. All right, so I just make so much noise here. And if we have any questions as I'm removing the vinyl, I'd be happy to answer them. I don't know if anybody asked anything yet.
We do have a couple of questions. The first one is, where did you get the stiff orange cardstock for the envelope? I didn't see it on the class materials list.
So it's actually an older cardstock I had. You can use any type of cardstock that you have. There are packets of different shimmer cardstock that you could use. You could use like a glitter cardstock also, which would be really fun. So yeah, that orange I used was an older piece I had. I don't remember exactly where I got it. So now I'm just going to take my wax paper. Sorry. Oh no, there goes my bug. Get him back on there. Okay. So the wax paper allows you, if you put it on smoothly, it will allow me to layer my, let me put it on one side. I was going to say it will allow me to layer my spiders and my different dipto parts and work as a barrier between these people. I think I'm going to put it on upside down there. Got another sheet. So this looks like your standard wax paper. There we go. I had it on upside down. It does have a right side and a wrong side. So I just want to loosely put that down so that I can slide it between my sheets of vinyl. So I'm leaving this top part open so I can lay that down on my sheet, and then I can take my different squares here and line them up on my design. So let's see which one I want to do first. Let's do the one here. So I can just slide this underneath and see where it's going to fall in place. Onto the design here, I had to get it in the right angle. And then what I do is once I have it lined up, I can remove this, I can remove my wax paper and put it on again. But I think oh dear, look at that. All right, I think I put my wax paper on upside down again. This is not showing very well, is it? Sorry about this, guys. I'm just going to cut a fresh piece of contact paper here. And it's kind of good. When I teach classes, and I make mistakes or something doesn't go right, it's good because you get to see like, oh, well, how do you fix that mistake? What do you do if you make a mistake or something doesn't turn out the way you were hoping it would turn out? So this gives us a little bit of a chance to experience that and kind of fix things as we're on the fly, if you will. Okay, so you can see how, I don't know if you can see through the colors, but everything's going to line up on our design. And I usually will have my design space open as I'm working on this to show me where the colors go and everything. So if you once you cut everything out, you want to go back to your design so that you can see how everything cut out. And just removing this little piece of my transfer tape. And we're going to start this again. All right, so let me I'm gonna have to come back to our little disco ball at the end to make sure that we get it all lined up. It has been a day. Do you ever have a day like that where like when you're crafting something and something you've done 1,000 times, it goes smooth as butter, and then the one time you're showing a friend how to do it, or your husband like, look at what cool thing I made today, and it just does not seem to want to go your way. If I feel today with my transfer tape, I don't know why it's been giving me a hard time today, but it sure has. Okay. So we'll get this all smoothed down. Now this cardstock is just an everyday vinyl. So it's a oh no, this is a smart one too. Oh, I think I use smart on all of these. Let's get this going. I may decide to set this aside so I can get the other projects I have. And then we can come back to this at the end, because I really am struggling with this today. I don't know why. I wish I did. You know what? I'm going to set this one aside. I'm going to come back to this one, but I don't want to take up all of our fun time trying to get that one to work. So I'm going to set that one aside. I have some other fun projects for us, and they actually do use vinyl. So one of the things, part of a fun event, a fun party, is to have your beverages, and whether you're doing beverages for your guests, if you have adult guests or kid guests, it's kind of fun to have a signature beverage with like a little beverage bar. So for this project, I went ahead in Design Space and I cut out a couple different designs, and I found a fun recipe online for like a witch's brew. And I copied the recipe from the website. I just did a copy paste from the website, and then I was able to transfer that onto my design space and then make that a cuttable file. So then my recipe here is cut out and ready to go. And when I have my function, I can just put that recipe right next to the drinks and the beverages. So again, here we are with more transfer tape. Now this is the Make Market permanent transfer tape. And I decided to go with permanent transfer tape for this project because I think I'll keep this up all the time. Although this would be a really cute project to do for like a hot cocoa bar in the winter or something like that. But you see, I still will roll back my transfer tape as I go. I missed my exclamation mark. Okay, we'll put that back on there. So this one, I wanted to show you this one. I was going to do my layering right on my frame here. So I was just going to put my design down on my frame. So I'm going to make sure we have enough room there. So let's get those down. Do our little ghosts in our back. Now you could again use the wax paper insert to work on that and layer with that, but I figured these were such small pieces, it would be easier just to do them as their own individual layer. And something like this, I kind of eyeball it. It doesn't have to be perfectly set together. You can just kind of eyeball it together. And again, we have the smart vinyl, so we just make sure you crease as you release those designs. You guys can see that. Now, another fun part of a party is the glasses that go with your signature beverage. And you may decide to do some just, wine charms. I know those Taylor Swift friendship bracelets are really popular right now. So some cute little wine charms would be fun in that style with blue or something on it. But then you also have, I made some stickers for my glasses. So when everybody comes in, they would have a glass with their name on it. And then they could take that glass home with them as a gift, as their parting gift. They'd have their own signature Halloween glass. So I printed out those stickers using print and cut, because I wanted them to be am I right? All right, so I did a little print and cut for some stickers, and I used the transparent paper with the holographic glitter on top. And I was hoping I'd be able to show you how easy that was to make and print, but I didn't really have a good way to have my printer up here, and I didn't know that we'd have enough time to do that. So, okay, now with these little pieces, I've got to be really careful that I don't lose any part of my recipe. And when I'm doing something like this, I really like to make sure like I don't lose an eye or something. But if I do, it'll still be on my carrier sheet here for my vinyl. So if I missed an eye, it can still be there, and I can grab that little dot and put it back on. Now, as I mentioned, this is permanent vinyl, and when you use permanent vinyl, Cricut's permanent vinyl is UV resistant, and it will also go through your washing machine. So you can put it right through your washer. You don't have to hand wash it. As long as your tumbler or what you're using is dishwasher safe, then you can go ahead and put your glass right in with the permanent vinyl, as well as the sticker. It is waterproof. When I put the holographic sheet on top of my sticker paper, which I know you guys don't see yet, but that is the holographic paper is also waterproof. So you can make stickers that can go in the dishwasher. You can make stickers that can be hand washed, anything like that. Any questions while I'm weeding? I'm transferring again.
Yeah, we have a couple. How long does removable vinyl stay on the wall?
Good question. Removable vinyl really stays on the wall until you remove it. And the benefit of the removable vinyl is that it doesn't leave a residue when you remove it. So you can have it there for years and then decide, okay, I'm moving. Maybe you're in a rental situation and you're moving and you're ready to take it off. But you can just peel it off and you won't have any residue left. So that's great. So it'll last until you take it off. And I also find that like sometimes I'll have to use permanent vinyl because I need a certain color and that's what I have on hand. And I can remove that as well. The permanent vinyl, though, I also use on things that I do intend to be permanent. And I have, for example, some flower pots outside that I made over, gosh, I think 6 or 7 years ago now. And the color, it was red, black, and white. The red still looks really red. And so they do last. I mean, I don't know how long it lasts because it hasn't not lasted for me yet. Okay.
For invitations, what is the standard info you should include? How much is too much detail? Is there anything in particular we should specify for Halloween?
Great question. So yeah, if you're doing a Halloween invitation, you definitely want to have, a start and stop time, unless you're okay having people at your house all night long. And if you're doing a kid party, definitely for a kid party, you want to have that, start and stop time so parents know when they have to pick up their kids. I also always include a costume if costumes are a must or if that's an optional thing, and if there's going to be any type of costume party, like a contest, a costume contest, then you want to include that information as well so people really know you're going all out for your Halloween party. I also include if you're serving, I like to include if I'm serving a meal or if it's going to be, pick up and wander kind of food. Sometimes you can tell by the hours if the party is set for. You can tell how long what kind of food you're going to have there. And then other times, it's kind of iffy. Like we look for a New Year's party, and that usually starts after dinner. But I have heavy hors d'oeuvres because we go late into the morning. So it really just depends on how long you intend to have your party, if you want to include that information or not. A great question. Also your address and how to RSVP. If you're doing handwritten invitations, which is so fun, especially if it's like a neighborhood party or something, to have a handwritten invitation and hand deliver it to your neighbors. Then you want to have a way for them to RSVP. Any other ones?
We have one more for now. If using an Explore 2, do you need a mat if using smart vinyl?
Yes. So if you're using an Explore 2 machine, you do want to have a mat if you're using smart material. Smart material will work on the Explore 3 and the Maker 3, and it works if you're using a full piece of material. So if you're only using a partial piece of material, like if you maybe have some leftover material that you're using and you're not using the full piece, then you can put it on a mat. Even if you're on your Explorer or your Maker 3, you can use it on a mat. So yeah, you definitely can do that with any of the machines. Put your scraps on a mat and use those. Okay, I'm gonna come back to that I of the J there. We're almost at this done. And then I can show you the drinks we've got prepared. All right. Oh, okay. Well, this is again a good example to explain to you if I make a mistake. I took that off and I didn't have everything removed, but that's okay because I'm going to put this on. Now I use the line on my transfer paper to make sure that I have my design lined up. That's a great thing about having the lines right on your transfer paper is that you can line it up right on the border, but that's not going to work out for me today. So here's our recipe. And again, I just did a quick Google search on what recipes were available for just ideas on some witch's brew or little Halloween drinks. And I know this went on Cricut. I put it down and I took my hand off of it. So I know that this went on Cricut. But you know what? I don't worry about that when I am crafting because Cricut is crazy. And really nobody's gonna ding you and go, oh, your recipe went on Cricut. They're just gonna be happy that they have the recipe there to make their own drink. And then as you saw, I missed some of my letters here, so I'm just coming back and grabbing those for the Empire Gin. And I'm really excited. I actually haven't, like I mentioned, I just found this recipe, so I'm really excited to give this a try. And see how the recipe goes. And it's called Empress 1980 Gin. And when we go back to our front camera, I can show you what it looks like. It's a really pretty indigo liquid. And I think you could make this, you can make it with, you can use a blue Hawaiian punch and some grape soda to get the colors on this. So I'm just taking my little pieces here and I can use my stick, my weeding tool, and just pull that right off. And that was supposed to go on the goose right here. Now to finish my frame off, I did go ahead and I printed out and did the print then cut on the stickers. So what, I'm going to turn my light off so you don't have that ring there. But what I did was I printed my stickers on this transparent sheet of paper, and I used the transparent holographic waterproof sticker set. And I don't know if you guys can see how that shimmers, but you just go ahead and design out your images on your paper, and then you cut out your images. Now you print it out on your laser printer. The paper is designed for a laser printer, and then you just can. Why is this not coming off? And then you can just peel them off. You should just be able to peel it right off. I'm having a hard time peeling it off. Let me grab another one. That may have been my test one that I put up here. Here. There we go. So here are some that I've already cut out and actually removed from the backing. So you can do all different kinds of designs with the sticker paper. And then you can just grab one, like my little martini glass here. And I'm just going to put that on my frame. And it just has the backing on it. So you just have to peel off that backing. Of course, it's going to be difficult today. Let's get that peeled off. Now, while your guests are at the either getting a drink or standing around and mixing and mingling, you may want to have some activities scattered around that people can do. Sometimes at a party, you may want to have like some, let me get that off. You may want to have some party games if you're having like a kids party, like maybe some bingo or pin the bone on the skeleton types of parties. And then if you're doing like a mixed type of party, like with kids and adults, my next project is a really fun project. Now we do have on the Michaels website, we did a whole sticker class. I'm gonna put that one down straight to kind of complement my crooked design there. It was popped out right there like that. Now, and then as you can see, I have my name, but I think this is just oh, there we go. That's coming off. So with my name, this part here, this was done with transparent sticker paper. And then, like I mentioned, I put the holographic design on it. So my sticker is a little bit transparent. You see how it's a little transparent? Let me turn that light back on, see if that helps us. So it's a little bit transparent there. So when I take my glass, if you have your guests over, you can just take a glass. If you want it to be something they're going to keep, you might want to use, a glass that they can take home, or you can use paper glasses if it's not something they're going to take home. And then you just apply that on there. And like I said, this can go right through the dishwasher. It is waterproof. And the cool thing about it is that you want to give it like 24 hours before you wash it. So definitely this is not your last minute craft project on your cups. But isn't that cool? And when we go to the front facing camera, I'll show you this again, and hopefully you'll be able to see the design a little bit better. But I can either have all the glasses done, or people can find their name on a sticker sheet and add it to a glass depending on what beverage they're drinking. So we'll just set that aside for now. I'm going to keep my recipe out because we're going to come back to that. The last thing I wanted to talk about was what I mentioned before about having like either games or something for people to do if they're kind of hanging out. I know, like, I always feel like sometimes at parties, especially if I don't know a lot of people, I don't really have anything to talk about. So one of the things I like to kind of have around are things that people can do while they're standing there talking. And this Cricut has these watercolor marker sets, which allow you to draw on not draw, like you do draw on watercolor paper. They also have watercolor cards, but I used like this big pack of watercolor paper. And what I did was you basically draw the designs out on the watercolor paper. So you could have a variety of these types of designs in different areas, and people can watercolor them at one time, or maybe somebody comes and does a little bit and somebody comes and does a little bit more. Now this one is like great too for Thanksgiving if you need placemats. And how fun would this be for a child with like a little container of Q-tips or something if you need a little quiet time? This is always a fun idea. And you can see here my design is really big and open. So I wanted to kind of have a little fun with that. And the same with this one here, the design's open. So somebody could do the watercolor, somebody could come in and add some designs to it. This one I cut out in a circle using my craft cutter. And when I drew in the line, so this pumpkin would have looked like this pumpkin here, how open it is. But I wanted to have a little bit more color there. So I used a feature called offset, and I did it in reverse. So I drew these extra lines inside each of the pumpkins so that you get more color inside. And all you have to do is take a paintbrush, and you add the paintbrush to it, and having the yellow and the orange together allows these colors to kind of combine to each other. And then my pumpkins will have this really kind of cool texture to it. And you can just somebody can just color that in. And again, this is a great project to have if your party involves multiple, like children and adults, and you just need a kind of a quiet activity, although that's really not usual at a party, is it? But if you just need like a little sit down, take a breather activity, but also I think as adults to have something like this, while you're kind of just standing around chatting with people would be super fun. And you can see as I add the water to the watercolor markers here, it really creates a watercolor look, and you can just see how much darker that gets. And I don't have to worry about coloring in the lines or anything like that. I just get to kind of have a little bit of fun here and color in as I go. So you can just add those to your party repertoire of fun things like that. So you just keep adding colors, you can change. And then if somebody walks away, another person can come along, grab a different paintbrush and just start working in a different area. And then people can sign it if they, feel like, oh, I'm such a Picasso, I want to put my name on it, or they can add, you can have some pens by it and people can add, their thoughts on fall, Halloween, scary moments, anything like that. You can just add that along there. So, and after it dries, you can come back and blend these lines even more. So each time you come back, the lines can blend in a little bit more based on how much water you put on it. So that was really a fun project. All right, are we ready to tackle our disco ball again? I don't know if I'm up for it. Let's give this a try. And how am I doing on time? My watch died on me.
You still have 15 minutes of class left.
Okay, all right. So we should be able to get this working here. And if there are any questions while I'm doing my transfer in here, please feel free to jump in and ask if anybody has anything. I also think if you're using your craft cutter with paper, you can make fun photo props. So you can have like a little photo booth. You can have people decorate a pumpkin, like a jack-o'-lantern, and then put it on a stick and let people take pictures with the jack-o'-lantern on. Especially for kids, that would be really fun and a good little craft project to do. I was always looking for some fun projects for my kids when they were little for parties that they could do and kind of keep everybody, you'd have like your crazy moments and then some quieter moments. So, and some people really enjoy the crafting part of it. So it's kind of fun to do that and mix that in a little bit. Oh, also another thing for the ultimate party is to have your playlist. And you can even, again, with your frame like this, you could cut out a QR code that they can scan and get to your, you can scan in your Spotify playlist if you're using Spotify. Okay, that's going to be a problem.
We have another question.
Yeah.
What are some ways to keep the guests engaged in the party, and what tips might you have for new party hosts?
So I think having like in music is a great way to have to keep people engaged at a party. I'm assuming, are we talking about kids or adults? Oh my goodness. Do you know if we're talking? I'm sure they understand. So for a new host, here's the great part about hosting a party. It is so much fun, and you'll be so glad that you did it, because you bring people together, and you'll make memories, and everyone will have a great time. What I like to do, oh my goodness, look at this. They're all coming off on my transfer tape. Something must be wrong with this roll of transfer tape. I'm now convinced. What I like to do is to, all right, there you go. All right, guys, I don't think this is gonna work today. I don't know what's going on with my materials. I'm so sorry. This was gonna be such a fun little thing here. And that disco ball, I just have to set it aside. I'm very, very sorry. I will recut it. And I'll take a picture of it so you can see like it does work out. I do have my little skeleton here that I was gonna put up on the wall with the disco ball. So I'm gonna grab a different roll of transfer tape though, and we can put the skeleton together here. Look at my desk. You know, I usually pan out this far, but so for the skeleton here, he was super fun to make. He the goat. I had to put him on big a big 12 by 24-inch mat because he was so big. And it was really fun to see it come. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I didn't do this on a 12 by 24-inch mat. I did this on the smart material roll. So I cut all three of these big skeletons at the same time on the roll. Okay, I'm just going to slide this out of the way so we don't get distracted with that anymore. Okay, now this is a different type of transfer tape. This transfer tape is called linerless, so it doesn't have a line to it. It just comes on a roll, and you can roll it out and then put it on your. So I'm going to go like this, and with this. What I'd like to do with this, actually have the transfer tape turned up on my workstation and then take my design and turn that upside down. So if I take my transfer tape and I roll them across my table and out, and then I put my design on the transfer tape, this is really a great way to do it. So I can just put it over there and I can see how much I get. And the cool thing about this transfer tape is once you use it, actually any of the transfer tapes, you can always reuse your transfer tape. So when you use it once, like this one, I can just put it back on the roll and you don't have to worry about putting it back on the carrier sheet. It can just go back on the roll. So I'll just give myself a little cut here. And we will see if I'll have more luck with this transfer tape than I've had in the last two. I really do apologize for that because I'm usually so good at it with my transfer tape. Let's see if we can get him off. There we go. I did bring over some scissors, so if I get my carrier sheet here gets too big, I can always trim it down. So that I don't have to, I'm not working with too much material. See how much easier that's coming off. There must be something that maybe I was using stronger transfer tape by accident. But this is how it should go. All right, I'm not crazy. I got it my little hands over here and I just fold it down so I don't use my fingers. Okay. All right. Did we get did the person answer about their question? Were they working on a kid's party?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm sorry.
Did you ask a question?
Well, yeah, you had asked a question about keeping people engaged at a party. And I didn't know if they were talking about children or adults.
They did say both.
Both. Okay. So, you know, the best way, I think for adults is, having ways for people to interact with each other and like creating social pits, if you will, so that people can feel comfortable in a small group chatting. It depends on how big the party is. Sometimes big parties, you don't really get the chance to chat with your neighbors. So creating little pits of little conversation pits does give you a really good opportunity to create people chit-chatting and things like that. And then I also think like having, I know it's gonna sound silly, but having activities for adults like that little watercolor. And you may not think like any adult would do that, but think about how much we all doodle and kind of pick something up and kind of play around with it. And that's why I think I would do those placemats at an adult party. Okay, do we want to go back to the overhead camera and I can show you how I put this on the wall? All right, perfect. Let me just slide this out of the way. All right, so as you can see, I already have one little guy up there and my disco ball is supposed to go right here. So I'm going to put my other skeleton over to this side. Now, I just transferred him onto the transfer tape, and then I can slide him up here. So let's see, I'll go about right here. Now you could have like draw a line on the wall to make sure you don't go crooked. How am I doing here? Down. There we go. All right, so I'm just gonna put him right there, and you can just transfer it right to the wall. So he just goes on there like that. Now, I don't have a way, oh, he is crooked. I don't have a way to take him off the wall so that he stay together. So when I'm ready to take him off the wall, I would just use my fingernail and remove a piece or two as I go. So it would be, each piece would come off individually. All right, here we go. So I'm just sliding this down. Uh-oh, did I miss a piece of that? I think I missed the bones. But that's okay, because I can just grab that bone back and put them back on there. So you just have to kind of go slowly. And the great thing I think about working on the wall is that you don't have it's a flat surface, so you don't have to worry so much about bubbles and getting bubbles in your vinyl. And then you just rub it on the wall once you get it there. Just give it a little rub as you go. You can use your brayer or your scoring tool. And slide that right down. All right. Now this can just go back on that roll of transfer tape. And if I grab my little skeleton bones. To his arm. He lost his arm. So we'll just have to, what I would do then is just cut out an extra arm to replace his little arm there. It should have still been on my paper, so I don't know why it's not there. But I lost that. Okay, so let me just roll this back up on here. And I like to, when I do a party, I like to have, I kind of like to get things set up ahead of time. So I would have done these, the day before, 2 days before. This is a really fun thing to do in the bathroom as well, because it's like a little place that people don't expect to have any decoration. So it's always a fun thing to find a decoration in the restroom. And then here's our card again. So it's had plenty of time to dry. So I just remove my little pieces here, my clips, my window clips, and my card is all set up here. So I can just start sending those out and walking those around. And then I do have, get the ingredients to make our drink here. So I thought it might be fun. This is the glass, that I used, and can you see it on there? Let's see if we can zoom in on that. Let's zoom in. Here we go. Can you see that? So it says this one has my name on it. It says Kesley on there. But let's fill it up and we'll see how it turns out in our last couple minutes. And if you have, this is our Q&A section. So if you have any Q&A questions, please do feel free to do it. And again, if you are doing a mocktail, you can certainly use, I would use like a grape drink and a blue drink, and then all the other ingredients you could use together. So this one uses 2 ounces of Empress gin. And so you just mix that in over crushed ice. I actually don't think we have time to mix it up today, but I would just do and then you have your lemon and your soda, or your Sprite, your lemon lime to go with it. And you would just put that up on your bar for people to mix their own drinks along with your measuring cup. Yeah, my measuring cup. And then you could have your sticker sheets along with extra empty glasses. So when people come to the bar and talk about engagement, you can put a sticker on their cup for them, or they can do it themselves if you're busy. And then everyone knows who everyone is too. It's sort of like an adult name tag to put on the glass. So as people are walking around the party, they'll see somebody else's name on their glass and they'll know, oh, that's Mike. I can go talk to him and say hi to him. All right. Were there any additional questions? David, you have any extra questions?
We don't have any questions right now.
Okay, all right. Well, we do have some other fun classes coming up this month. We are doing a trick or treat bag as well as some Halloween costumes. And I will try and reserve a couple minutes and we'll do the disco ball because that was just gonna be so cute. We're gonna have a little disco ball hanging here for the skeletons to dance with. So I may not finish that, or I may finish it and then we'll do a second disco ball before the next workshop. So thank you all for joining me. I hope you have a great evening and do feel free to follow me in Design Space. It's Kesley Anderson. And I'm also on Instagram, Kesley.365. So if you have any questions after this workshop, anything I didn't answer, or you want to see something else or want to know how I made something, I'm happy to show you how I did that. So just reach out and let us know. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great weekend.